Do you keep stretching the hamstrings at the back of your thigh but never see any progress? If that's you, then keep watching because I'm going to show you the solution to your problem. If you don't know who I am, my name is Harlow and I'm the Over-Fifties specialist physio here at HT Physio in Farnham. And today we're going to be talking about why stretching might not be improving your hamstring tightness and what to do instead. Now, the hamstrings are the muscles that live at the back of the thigh. You can feel them sometimes when you walk. You can certainly feel them when you run. And for many people, they're very, very tight. They cause issues with bending forward. They might cause pain at the back of the leg when you start walking. And for many people, stretching is enough to help them. But there are a lot of the people I see in my clinic who are stretching their hamstrings but aren't seeing any improvement. And in this video, I'm going to reveal why that is and what to do to fix it. So before I show you the right way to fix it and the exercises to do so, I just wanted to let you know that the advice in this video is not suitable for everyone. Please get checked out by your doctor before you give it a try. And if it causes you pain, just avoid it. Anyway, let's have a look at why those hamstrings are still tight and how to fix it. Now, your hamstrings are these muscles here. And if you've been stretching them using stretches like these, or these, and they're not getting any better, there could be a very good reason for that. Before I show you what the reason is, I'm going to show you a quick anatomy lesson which will help me illustrate the point. So your hamstrings start on your pelvis. They attach to this bone here called the ischial tuberosity, then they go down the back of the leg and they either attach to the fibula, which is the bone on the outside of the lower leg, or the tibia, which is the shin bone. They attach to the back of either of those bones. So when they contract, they pull the lower leg up towards the pelvis, and you can hopefully see a little bit of hamstring working there on me. Now, if you've been stretching them lots and lots and lots and not seen any improvement, the tightness you feel at the back of the leg, which you think is your hamstrings, might not be your hamstrings at all. It could be tightness in your sciatic nerve. So this is the big problem. Many people think that tightness at the back of the leg automatically means hamstring tightness, when in reality there's another structure that mirrors exactly where the hamstrings run, and it's not a muscle at all, it's the nerve. Now, your sciatic nerve starts from these little nerve roots in the lower spine. It comes down into the pelvis, very close to where the hamstrings attach, down the back of the leg, right underneath the hamstrings, then down past the back of the knee into the lower leg. So exactly the same areas as your hamstrings. Now, if it's the sciatic nerve that's the problem and you keep stretching your hamstrings, then guess what? You're going to be making it worse, because nerves, unlike muscles, do not like to be stretched. So if it's tightness from a nerve and you keep stretching it, your hamstring tightness, in inverted commas, is just going to get worse and worse and worse. So I'm going to show you a quick test for you to see if it is indeed sciatic tightness rather than hamstring tightness causing that tightness at the back of your leg, and what to do instead of stretching. Before we go any further, I just want to tell you about 3 Tip Friday. 3 Tip Friday is my weekly email that I send out to my list, and it features 3 of the most interesting things I've found that week. It could be a health tip, it could be a piece of research I'm reading, or it could be a new tool that I've found to be really useful for helping people get more mobile. It's totally free. I just send it out once a week. There's no annoying promos inside, and you can sign up for it by going down below this video and entering your email in the 3 Tip Friday link. So to test whether it's sciatic nerve tightness causing your problem, we're going to do something called the Slump Test, and then we're going to compare it to a normal hamstring stretch and just see what happens. So the first test we're going to do puts tension on the whole nervous system, and if this causes real tightness for you, you know it's your sciatic nerve that's the problem. So what you're going to do is put some tension on your upper nervous system by coming into a slumped position with your head down, and then if it's comfortable, we're just going to straighten the leg that feels tight as far as we can, and just pay attention to how far we can get that leg. Now, when I get to this point here, I've got my foot relaxed, I can get my knees straight, and I feel a little bit of tightness down the back of my leg. And I can be confident that's not my hamstrings that I'm feeling, that's my sciatic nerve, because the pain isn't just under my hamstrings. It's also down into my calf and down slightly into my foot as well. So that's a sign it's sciatic tightness. Now, some people, when they do the slump test, they can literally only get their leg to here before the pain and the tightness really starts in their leg. And that is a positive sign that it's the sciatic nerve causing your problem. Now, what I want you to do is compare that to a position that doesn't stretch the sciatic nerve, but does stretch the hamstrings. So we're going to do exactly the same thing, but this time we're going to lift the chest, lift the head, and then straighten the leg. And you can see that I'm getting to exactly the same point here, but this time I can just feel the muscle in my leg, not the nervy pull down in my calf as well. So for me, my hamstrings and my sciatic nerve are about equal, so that's really what we'd be looking for. Now, if you find that you can only get to here on the slump test, but when you straighten up, you can get your leg perfectly straight, that means it's your sciatic nerve that's the problem. However, if you found that both tests were equal, or you were actually worse on this test with a straight back, that means it's probably a stiff, tight set of hamstrings that's your problem. Whichever is the case, I'm going to show you an exercise for each one. We'll start with a tight sciatic nerve. We're going to do something called nerve flossing, which we do in exactly the same position that we were just sat in, and then we're going to look at an exercise for tight hamstrings. So here is an exercise to help you with sciatic nerve tension. It's called nerve flossing, and it works by flossing the nerve up and down throughout the entire body by moving different parts of the body. So we're going to alternate between movements of our head and our leg, and we're going to start off in the first position. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to slump forward just like we did before. I like to have one hand in front and one hand behind the tummy, just using this as a pivot point. And we're going to start by dropping the head and bending the knee that we're trying to exercise. That's position one. Position two is the opposite. So we're going to straighten the leg, and as we straighten the leg, we're going to bring our head and our shoulders up. So then we're going to go down into position one, so head down, leg down, and then up into position two, so head up, leg up. Now, if you're watching carefully, what you'll see is I'm putting tension on in my neck and taking it off in my leg. And then in this position, I'm putting it on in my leg and taking it off in my head. So by alternating between these two positions, we're effectively asking the nerve to slide up and down within the body. And what this does is it frees up any sciatic entrapment, hopefully. For many people, this can really improve the symptoms of sciatica, but it definitely helps with sciatic tightness as well. I've used this exercise for loads of my clients who've got sciatic tightness, even when they've been stretching their hamstrings loads and it hasn't helped. This has been the one to work. So what I would recommend you do is alternate slowly between those two positions for about a minute. You don't have to do it fast. You can do 2 seconds up and then 2 seconds down, and you don't need to hold the positions. We can keep it moving throughout the set. A couple of times a day over a period of a couple of weeks is usually enough to feel a difference. So that's sciatic nerve tightness. But what if it is your hamstrings that are just really tight and stiff and they're just not responding to stretching? Well, there's some interesting research to show that eccentric muscle contractions, which is where we contract the hamstrings whilst they're getting longer, are just as, if not more effective than stretching for increasing the length of the muscle. So I'm going to show you a great exercise that eccentrically contracts the hamstrings and hopefully can make them longer. It's called the Romanian Deadlift, and it's one of my favorite exercises to do in the gym to help build up the hamstrings, but it also helps with hamstring flexibility. Now, the caveat here is if you have sciatic tightness or sciatica, this is probably not a good exercise for you, so definitely avoid it. However, if it's just tight hamstrings that are your problem, this is a really good exercise for you. So I'm going to use 2 dumbbells for this exercise, but you could easily use a bar, or if you're just getting started and you're not very strong, you could just use a stick or a cane or just something to hold so that you get the movement right. And what we're going to do is start off by picking up the dumbbells, holding them in an overhand grip. So we've got our knuckles facing forward. We're going to put a little bit of a bend in the knee, and then the movement is like this. You're going to slide the weights down the fronts of your legs, sticking your bottom out behind you as far as you can, keeping a straight back. Now, because of the limit in my hamstrings, this is where I have to stop. So that's normal to stop here. We're not expecting to get down to the floor. And then we're just going to come back up to here. And again, we're going to slide down. Now, as I go down, I can feel my hamstrings contracting as they get longer, which is exactly what an eccentric contraction is. So they're getting longer on the way down. I'm sticking my bottom out towards the wall. The weights are still running down the fronts of my legs. When I reach my natural limit, I'm just going to pull it into reverse, and that's the concentric contraction there. So again, down, keeping that stiff back and those stiff legs, and then coming back up again. So my legs aren't straight. You can see there's a bend in my knee, but they are stiff, so that bend is not changing throughout the movement. It's staying pretty much the same. Now, after a set of these, you will feel the backs of your legs having to work quite hard, and it's important not to use a weight that's too heavy, because if you do, you'll start to end up with a loss of control at the spine, and then that can sometimes lead to an injury. So this exercise is very important to get the technique correct. Now, after a set of these, I've got a bit of a burn at the back of the leg. It's similar to if I'd just done an intense stretching session on my hamstrings, but it feels kind of different. And the benefit with this is you'll also get stronger hamstrings at the same time as lengthening them. So this is actually much more effective than stretching the hamstrings if they are indeed tight. Anyway, I hope that exercise is one that you can give a try if it's safe for you to do so. It's a lovely exercise to lengthen those hamstrings. So that's the reason why your hamstrings are still tight no matter what you do, and hopefully a solution to the problem. If you found this video useful and it's something you can try at home, do drop a comment below. Let me know how you got on with it. Hopefully it's helped you. And if you want to get more from me, I've got loads more great exercises like today's one in my book. It's called Thriving Beyond 50, and you can find it on Amazon using the link below. And I hope if you get it, you enjoy reading it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll speak to you on the next video.